There are moments in life when the world feels unbearably heavy, when the heart trembles under the weight of unanswered questions, unseen battles, and silent fears we never admit to anyone. But there is a secret door, a door that only opens when the heart is at its softest, when tears hang on the edge of the eyelashes, and when a person finally whispers, "Oh Allah, I have no one but you." That is the dua that can change your life overnight. Not because the world will instantly transform, not because every prayer will immediately unfold exactly as you imagine, but because you will transform. Your heart will shift, your soul will awaken, your burdens will be lifted in ways you cannot yet see. Sometimes all it takes is one sincere moment, one breath where your heart turns fully toward Allah, after being distracted for so long, a moment where you let go of the illusion of control and finally hand your life over to the one who has already written every chapter with perfect wisdom. In that moment, you are not just asking, you are surrendering, you are trusting. You are believing that the one who shaped the stars can reshape your destiny too. Have you ever placed your head on the ground in sujood at night, when the world sleeps, when no one knows your struggles, when your heart is thundering inside your chest, and felt something shift within you? There is a sweetness in sujood that no words can describe, a closeness that no hand can give, a comfort that no human voice can match. In that moment, your tears are not signs of weakness, they are seeds. Every drop watered by faith grows into patience, strength, resilience, and miraculous openings. Trusting the delay, we often ask, why hasn't my dua been accepted yet? But what if the delay is the mercy? What if the wait refines you, strengthens you, teaches you, protects you? Remember, when something is taken away, it might be Allah pulling you away from harm. When something is delayed, it might be Allah building something far greater for you. When something is given, it is given at the moment you are ready, not a second earlier. Allah's timing is not slow, it is perfect. Think of your darkest night, the moment you felt you wouldn't make it through, but you did. And you're still here, your heart still beats, your soul still seeks, your hope still flickers like a small flame refusing to die. And that is proof that Allah never abandoned you. Even when you thought you were walking in darkness alone, He was guiding every step, every breath, every tear. The dua that changes your life overnight is the dua that says, Ya Allah, I leave everything to you. I trust your plan more than my pain. That dua turns darkness into dawn. Not always by changing the world around you, but by lighting the world inside you. Tonight, make that dua tonight. Before you sleep, turn off the noise. Put your phone away, dim the lights, and sit with your heart. Whisper to Allah the words you've buried, the fears you hide, the dreams you hesitate to express. Tell Him everything, for He already knows. Yet He loves when you speak to Him. And then ask. Ask with certainty. Ask with humility. Ask with hope that refuses to surrender. Because a dua made with a trembling heart can unlock doors you didn't even know existed. Let this be the night you rise. Let this be the night you return. Let this be the night you make the dua that changes your life. Not because you spoke it, but because you finally believed it. May your heart settle, your path clear, your faith deepen, and your life transform in ways that only Allah can orchestrate. There is something extraordinary about a single sincere dua, a quiet moment where your heart, after running in every direction seeking comfort, finally returns to the one who created it. This one act, this whisper spoken from the depths of a weary soul, holds the power to change the course of your life in ways you may never fully understand. And the beauty of it is that it does not require a long list of eloquent words, nor does it require you to be perfect, strong, or unbroken. It simply requires honesty. The kind of honesty that comes from a heart tired of pretending. It is okay, tired of carrying what feels too heavy, tired of trying to navigate life alone. When you speak to Allah from that place, the sincerity itself becomes a key that unlocks divine help you didn't know was waiting for you. Think of what happens inside you when you finally sit down, breathe deeply, and allow your soul to spill its truth. Maybe your voice trembles. Maybe no words come out at all, and only your heart cries. Maybe you whisper something simple like, Ya Allah, I need you. And in that moment, everything shifts, not outside you, but within you. Suddenly, the burdens you thought would break you begin to soften. The fears that chased you begin to lose their grip. The loneliness that clung to you begins to fade. Because when you turn to Allah with sincerity, you are not merely making a request, you are reconnecting with the one who has been with you through every moment you thought you were alone. A sincere dua is not about demanding a specific outcome. It is not a transaction where you ask for something and wait for it to arrive like a package. It is surrender. It is a declaration that you trust the author of your story more than the chaos of your emotion. It is the realization that you don't need to have everything figured out. You only need to place your heart in the hands of the one who already has the complete picture. When you do that, even before anything in your life changes, your inner world begins to transform. Fear becomes patience. Pain becomes resilience. Confusion becomes clarity. Hopelessness becomes faith. And this shift within you is more miraculous than any physical change you could ask for. Sometimes the power of one sincere dua comes from the fact that it breaks a long silence. Life can harden us without us noticing. We get absorbed in our routines, our struggles, our disappointments. We stop talking to Allah, not out of rebellion, but out of exhaustion. Days pass, then months, and the heart grows distant. But when you make that one sincere dua, it is like returning home after being away for too long. It is like stepping out of cold darkness into a warm light. And the amazing thing is that Allah welcomes you with a mercy so gentle, so comforting, that you wonder why you ever delayed returning. That one moment of genuine turning back can erase years of heaviness. It can breathe life back into your heart, soften your soul, and remind you that you were never abandoned. There are times in life when you feel stuck, trapped in a situation that seems impossible to escape, a relationship falling apart, a heart shattered by disappointment, a dream slipping from your fingers, financial struggles, loneliness, fear of the future. You try everything and nothing works. You try to hold yourself together, but the cracks keep widening. And then you finally reach that moment where you whisper a dua through your tears. That moment becomes the turning point, not because the situation magically resolves overnight, but because Allah finally becomes your first refuge instead of your last option. And when you return to Him sincerely, doors that seemed welded shut begin to open in ways you couldn't predict. Solutions appear from directions you never considered. Peace begins to settle even while the storm continues. This is the silent, powerful response of Allah to a heart that calls on Him with truth. One sincere dua can also change your life because it realigns your heart with purpose. When you ask Allah for help, guidance, strength, or relief, you are reminding yourself that life is not random. Nothing you have faced is meaningless. Nothing you have endured is wasted. Every tear, every setback, every disappointment was preparing you for something greater, something necessary, something written with divine wisdom. The power of that realization alone can change how you walk through life. It gives you courage to face another day. It gives you hope that your situation can improve. It gives you trust that even the pain has a purpose. The dua doesn't just ask for change, it inspires change within you. And maybe the most beautiful part is this: Allah never ignores a sincere dua. Even if you don't see the answer immediately, even if your life doesn't transform overnight in the way you expect, something begins to move in the unseen world. Angels are sent, doors begin shifting, hearts begin softening, paths begin forming. You may not feel it instantly, but the moment you raised your hands or whispered your plea, something divine started unfolding. That is why one sincere dua can change your life. Not because of the word, but because of the heart behind them and the Lord who hears them. There is a moment in every believer's life when the soul longs for a refuge deeper than words can express. This refuge is found in sujood, the posture of the heart, as much as the posture of the body. It is the place where burdens that feel too heavy for the world are placed gently at the feet of the one who created the world. To many, sujood looks like an act of bowing. But to the heart that has tasted its sweetness, it is a homecoming. It is the moment when the chaos outside quiets, when the noise inside calms, when the soul finally breathes after holding its breath for far too long. This is what makes sujood the place where burdens melt and destinies are rewritten without a sound. You can go through a long day carrying anxieties that tighten the chest, disappointments that yell in your mind, or memories that cling painfully. You might smile to the world, act strong, or pretend you are okay, because life demands you to keep going. But when you stand on the prayer mat, take that deep breath, say Allahu Akbar, and lower your head to the ground, something indescribable happens. It is as if the weight you've been holding doesn't fall on the floor, but rises to the heavens with your prayer. You feel a release, a surrender, a kind of peace that doesn't come from fixing your problems, but from entrusting them to the one who can. Sujood is the closest moment a person can ever be to their Creator. And in that closeness, a broken heart becomes a vessel ready to receive miracles. You may come to sujood trembling, overwhelmed, even feeling spiritually empty. But sujood doesn't require you to come strong. It only requires you to come sincerely. Many people think strength is found in standing tall, but sometimes true strength is found in the courage to fall to your knees and say, I can't carry this anymore, you carry it for me. And Allah, with His infinite mercy, never turns away a heart that bows before Him with honesty. In that quiet moment, when your forehead touches the ground, your tears become a language that needs no translation. You don't need to craft eloquent sentences. You don't need to explain your pain as if you're presenting a case. You don't need to hide your fears or decorate your words. In sujood, your tears speak the truth your tongue struggles to express. Every drop that falls is seen, recorded, valued, and answered in a way far beyond what your limited understanding can grasp. The floor beneath you may stay dry, but the unseen world above you receives those tears as seeds. Seeds that will grow into ease, clarity, or blessings in their own time. There are times in life when you feel no one understands you. You might be surrounded by people yet feel painfully alone. But in sujood, loneliness dissolves instantly. You feel accompanied, embraced, watched over by the one who has always been close. There is nothing quite like whispering your deepest fears into the silence. Why? Knowing that the one who hears them is also the one who controls every outcome. You feel small in sujood, but not in a way that breaks you, in a way that makes you safe. Safe from the pressures of life, safe from the expectations of people, safe from the weight of your own thoughts. For once, you are not holding everything together. You are letting yourself fall apart in front of the one who can rebuild you stronger. Sometimes the answers you seek are not given in words, but in the tranquility you feel when you rise from sujood. You still face the same challenges, the same responsibilities, the same wounds, but something is different now. You walk away lighter, more hopeful, more grounded, because sujood doesn't always change the situation. Sometimes it changes you first. And once you change, the world around you begins to shift in ways you didn't anticipate. There is a unique intimacy in sujood that you cannot find anywhere else. It is a moment where heaven feels closer, where your soul feels heard, where your heart feels held. It is the moment you realize you are not praying because you are strong, you are praying because you are weak. And that weakness is the doorway to divine strength. People often wait for night to fall, to cry silently into their pillows, thinking no one sees. But the one who cries in sujood does not cry alone, and their tears are not lost. They rise like fragile prayers that carry the scent of sincerity. In every difficulty, there comes a moment when your heart whispers, go into sujood. This whisper is not from despair, it is from hope. Because deep down, your soul knows that no matter how complicated life becomes, everything simplifies once your head reaches the ground. That is where guidance descends. That is where wounds begin to heal. That is where miracles begin their journey toward you. And the most beautiful thing about sujood is that it is always available. You don't need a perfect life to go into sujood, you need a seeking heart. You don't need to have all the answers. You need faith that the one you bow to does. You don't need to wait for the right time. Sujood creates the right time. You simply bow. You whisper, you cry if you must, and you rise again carrying a strength that wasn't there before. In the end, sujood is not about lowering your body. It is about elevating your soul. It is where broken hearts are repaired, silent pain is heard, and forgotten dreams are revived. It is where the burdens that felt impossible begin to melt away, replaced. With a trust so deep that even the darkest path begins to glow with hope. There is a profound truth that every believer eventually comes to realize, sometimes the very thing we are desperate for is not denied to us because it is impossible, but because it is not yet the right moment. Life has a rhythm, And divine timing is the pulse that guides everything in existence. It is easy to become frustrated when prayers are delayed, when solutions seem out of reach, or when our hearts ache in the silence between what we hope for and what we see. We ask, we plead, we strive, yet it feels as though our prayers vanish into the void. But the delay is not neglect, it is mercy. It is the unseen hand of wisdom shaping our lives, preparing us for outcomes that are far greater than our limited understanding can imagine. To trust in Allah's timing is to surrender to a perfection that surpasses human perception. To believe that every setback, every waiting period, every moment of struggle is part of a grand design that is ultimately for our benefit. When we look back at moments of waiting in our lives, we often realize that those delays were not wasted. They were seasons of preparation. They were opportunities to grow, to refine character, to cultivate patience, to deepen reliance on Allah. The delay teaches us that what we truly need is not always what we want at the exact moment we want it. It teaches that rushing the natural course of events can deprive us of greater blessings that lie ahead. Often, the solution we imagined would bring relief is insufficient for the heart or unfit for the destiny Allah has mapped for us. The patience we cultivate during periods of waiting is itself a gift, shaping resilience, fortifying faith, and teaching us to lean on divine wisdom rather than our own limiting understanding. Trusting the delay also requires a profound shift in perspective. It calls for seeing beyond the immediate discomfort and recognizing that the unseen world is far more active than the visible one. Angels are at work. Unseen doors are being opened. Hearts are being softened. Situations are being realigned in ways that may be invisible to the human eye. Just because change is not instant does not mean it is not occurring. What appears to be stillness is often the quiet preparation of something extraordinary. When a person surrenders fully to this truth, anxiety begins to dissolve, fear loses its grip, and a deep peace emerges. This peace is not passive. It is an active trust that fuels hope, strengthens resolve, and transforms the heart so that when the moment of blessing arrives, the soul is ready to receive it fully. It is often in the periods of delay that a person discovers the true power of reliance on Allah. We are creatures who crave control, who seek immediate solutions, and who measure our worth by visible outcomes. The delay challenges this instinct. It forces the heart to relinquish control, to stop obsessing over timelines, and to acknowledge that ultimate knowledge and wisdom belong to Allah alone. Trusting His timing does not mean inaction. It means aligning our efforts with reliance on Him, knowing that our striving is meaningful even when the fruits are unseen. Each step we take, each prayer we utter, each moment of perseverance during a wait becomes an act of worship, a testament to our faith, and a seed planted for future blessings that only Allah can manifest in their perfect form. There is also a transformative beauty in witnessing the fulfillment of prayers after a period of waiting. The joy, the relief, the gratitude are magnified because the heart has been prepared to appreciate the blessing fully. Immediate gratification, though satisfying, often lacks depth because it does not require endurance, patience, or trust. When something comes after a delay, it carries the weight of struggle, the wisdom of experience, and the sweetness of hope that was nurtured through perseverance. The delay, in essence, enhances the blessing itself. It teaches that timing is not just a measure of patience, but a measure of preparation, ensuring that the heart, the mind, and the soul are ready to embrace what is given without being overwhelmed or ungrateful. Trusting divine timing also transforms how we see challenges themselves. What seems like an obstacle may, in reality, be a protective measure, a guide away from what could have harmed us, or a necessary lesson that enriches the soul. Life's hardships are often timed with precision, not randomly or unfairly. They are designed to mold us, to test our resolve, and to draw us closer to the one who knows our innermost needs better than we do. Understanding this perspective does not erase the pain, but it does infuse it with meaning. It turns despair into hope, frustration into patience, and uncertainty into faith. When a believer internalizes this, they no longer demand that life unfold according to their timetable. They learn to wait, to endure, and to trust that what comes will be exactly what is needed at the perfect moment. Ultimately, trusting the delay is an invitation to a deeper spiritual maturity. It calls for surrendering pride, letting go of obsession with control, and embracing the rhythm of life that Allah has ordained. It is a recognition that our hearts, our minds, and our circumstances are being prepared to receive the right blessings in the right form and at the right time. It is an assurance that no prayer goes unheard, no effort is wasted, and no hardship is without purpose. The heart that trusts the delay finds solace even in uncertainty, courage even in struggle, and unwavering hope even in the longest nights. In doing so, the believer experiences a peace that transcends understanding, a strength that sustains through trials, and a joy that magnifies the sweetness of eventual fulfillment. In this way, learning to trust Allah's timing does not simply alter the outcome of events. It transforms the soul. It changes how we perceive life, how we endure hardship, how we anticipate blessings, and how we cultivate patience. By embracing the wisdom of divine timing, we awaken to a higher understanding of life, that every moment, whether of waiting or fulfillment, is carefully woven with purpose, mercy, and love beyond measure. There is a remarkable transformation that occurs when a person experiences the shift from darkness to dawn, not in the literal sense of morning breaking, but in the deeper, more intimate sense of the heart, awakening to hope after a season of despair. Life is full of nights that feel unending, moments when pain, loss, disappointment, or confusion weighs heavily upon the soul. Sometimes it feels as if the world conspires to crush our spirit, and even the smallest flicker of light seems distant, almost impossible to reach. Yet, in these very moments, the turning point is often closer than we imagine. The darkness is not permanent, it is a prelude, a necessary pause before the emergence of light. And the light that follows is not merely a return to normalcy, but a profound illumination that touches the soul in ways that only hardship can prepare us to receive. When a person is enveloped in darkness, it can feel as though all doors are closed, as if every effort is met with failure, and as though the heart itself is losing its capacity to hope. These moments are real, raw, and deeply human. Yet it is precisely in this depth of despair that the opportunity for spiritual awakening exists. Darkness forces introspection. It strips away illusions of control and pride. It humbles the soul and reminds the believer that life is not dictated by human desire alone. In these moments, the heart begins to recognize its own dependence on divine guidance. And even the smallest act of turning toward Allah becomes a seed of light. It is in the acknowledgement of our vulnerability that true transformation begins. The journey from darkness to dawn is not instantaneous, nor is it always visible. Often, the first glimmers of light are internal rather than external. A shift in perspective, a sudden clarity, or a quiet moment of gratitude can signal the start of dawn within the heart. The trials that once seemed unbearable begin to be understood as lessons, shaping character and resilience. Pain that seemed pointless gains purpose. What once felt like endless struggle becomes a source of strength. This internal dawn is deeply personal. It does not require recognition from anyone else. It is the awakening of faith, the rekindling of hope, and the illumination of the soul that no one can take away. One of the most powerful aspects of this transformation is the way it changes the believer's relationship with hardship itself. When someone has experienced darkness and lived to see the dawn, their perspective on suffering evolves. No longer is adversity merely an obstacle or a punishment. It becomes a teacher, a guide, a necessary part of the journey towards spiritual maturity. They begin to understand that even when life feels cruel or unfair, there is a divine orchestration at work. Every trial carries wisdom, and every moment of despair contains the seed of eventual ease. This realization does not eliminate pain, but it reframes it, giving the heart a reason to endure and a vision that extends beyond immediate suffering. The emergence from darkness also instills a renewed appreciation for blessings, both big and small. After experiencing the intensity of hardship, the simplest moments of joy, comfort, and peace are no longer taken for granted. A smile, a kind word, a safe night's rest, the warmth of family, or the calm of solitude, all take on profound significance. The heart becomes more sensitive to goodness, more attuned to gratitude, and more capable of finding light even in moments that remain shadowed. This heightened awareness is itself a gift, a spiritual enrichment, could not have been achieved without the experience of darkness. It reminds the believer that life is cyclical, that every period of difficulty is temporary, and that divine mercy can transform despair into hope when least expected. Moreover, the transition from darkness to dawn often brings a deepened faith and trust in Allah's wisdom and timing. Experiencing trials and emerging from them strengthens the believer's conviction that nothing happens without purpose. The hardships that once seemed random or cruel are seen as shaping forces, cultivating resilience, patience, and a heart attuned to divine guidance. The soul learns to wait with trust, to persevere through uncertainty, and to embrace the idea that relief will come not necessarily on one's own schedule, but at the moment that is perfectly aligned with Allah's wisdom. This trust transforms the way life is approached, replacing anxiety, doubt with patience, hope, and a serene reliance on divine timing. This journey from darkness to dawn also highlights the profound power of prayer, supplication, and heartfelt connection with Allah when everything seems bleak, when the human heart cannot find solutions, when the world's distractions fall silent. Turning to Allah becomes not just a ritual but a lifeline. It is in these moments of sincere invocation, of pouring one's heart into prayer, that the first beams of dawn begin to shine. The act of seeking divine guidance, comfort, and support transforms the believer from passive suffering to active hope. It is an acknowledgement that while one may not control the external circumstances, one's heart can always find solace, strength, and clarity in the presence of the divine. Finally, the journey from darkness to dawn is a call to action, a reminder that hope must be met with effort and intention. Darkness is not a reason to surrender to despair. It is a reason to seek, to pray, to trust, and to persist. Every small step taken in faith, every act of perseverance, every whisper of hope contributes to the arrival of dawn. The heart that continues to seek light, even in the deepest night, becomes the heart that will witness the most profound transformation. And when that dawn finally arrives, it is not just the circumstances that have changed. It is the soul itself that has been renewed, strengthened, and prepared to embrace life with a deeper understanding, a firmer faith, and an unwavering trust in Allah's mercy. There is a moment in life when a person is called to rise, to return, to take a single step toward transformation. And that moment often comes quietly, without fanfare or warning. It is the moment when the heart realizes that nothing in this world can bring true solace except turning wholeheartedly to Allah. The call to make a life-changing dua is not just about asking for relief or favor. It is about surrendering the heart, stripping away pretense, and revealing your deepest vulnerabilities before the one who knows them already. This act of surrender is profoundly empowering because it reminds the believer that they are not alone, that their pain is seen, and that divine intervention is always within reach. It is the culmination of faith, patience, and hope converging into a single, heartfelt plea. When a person decides to make that transformative dua, they are stepping into a space of unparalleled intimacy with their Creator. The world, with all its distractions and noise, fades away, leaving only the raw, honest conversation between the heart and Allah. There is no need for elaborate words, no need for justification, no need to hide shame or weakness. Every fear, every longing, every tear becomes part of the prayer, and every whispered plea received with perfect understanding. This moment is sacred, a sanctuary where the soul can lay down its burdens and trust that the one who shaped the heavens can carry what feels too heavy to bear. In this space, the heart learns to let go of control and to embrace reliance on divine wisdom, knowing that surrender is not defeat, but a gateway to profound strength. The act of making such a dua also ignites hope in a way that no worldly solution ever can. Life often presents challenges that seem insurmountable, problems that appear unsolvable, or pain that feels endless. In these moments, human effort alone may fall short, and despair can easily creep in. But turning to Allah with sincerity rekindles a light within the soul, a hope that refuses to be extinguished. This hope is not naive. It is rooted in the recognition that Allah's power and mercy are limitless, and that no situation is beyond his control. The very act of placing trust in him, while asking for guidance or relief, instills a calm confidence, a certainty, that even if the outcome is different from what was imagined, it will ultimately be for the believer's good. In this way, hope becomes both the seed and the fruit of sincere supplication. Making a transformative dua also strengthens patience and resilience. When a person prays with the belief that change can come, they are simultaneously acknowledging that the response may not be immediate, that life may still require endurance. Trusting in Allah's timing cultivates a heart capable of waiting without despair, of persevering without losing faith, and of maintaining gratitude even amid trials. Each moment of waiting becomes an opportunity to grow spiritually, to refine character, and to deepen reliance on Allah. The practice of patience transforms the believer from someone who seeks immediate gratification into someone who understands that true blessings are often nurtured through time, preparation, and the unseen workings of divine wisdom. This resilience, born from reliance on Allah, becomes a source of inner strength that sustains the believer through the unpredictable rhythms of life. Perhaps the most profound aspect of this moment is the way it fosters a complete realignment of the heart and soul. A sincere dua is not merely about changing external circumstances. It is about transforming the inner world. When a heart turns fully toward Allah, it experiences a shift in perspective. Fear is replaced with trust, despair is replaced with hope, and confusion is replaced with clarity. The soul becomes attuned to divine guidance, more sensitive to mercy, and more capable of seeing the subtle ways in which Allah's plan unfolds. This realignment allows the believer to navigate life with renewed purpose, to face challenges with courage, and to embrace blessings with deep gratitude. The dua becomes a catalyst for spiritual awakening, an instrument through which the heart is softened, the mind is enlightened, and the soul is strengthened. Finally, making a life-changing dua is a call to action, an invitation to rise tonight and turn sincerely toward Allah with full conviction. It is an act that requires courage, humility, and unwavering faith. It demands that the heart speak its truth, that it express its deepest needs and desires, and that it surrender completely to divine wisdom. This act of reaching out does not guarantee immediate answers, but it guarantees transformation. In the way the heart perceives life, responds to challenges, and experiences hope. Each dua made with sincerity plants seeds in the unseen world, seeds that grow into guidance, mercy, and blessings in their perfect timing. By answering this call to rise and pray, the believer participates in their own spiritual renewal, opens the door to miracles both seen and unseen, and strengthens the bond with the one whose mercy knows no bounds. In essence, making this transformative dua is more than a request. It is a spiritual journey, a realignment of the soul, and a bridge from despair to hope. It invites the believer to rise above fear, to embrace vulnerability, and to trust fully in Allah's plan. It transforms the heart, cultivates patience, strengthens resilience, and ignites a hope that endures even in the darkest nights. By taking that step, by turning in sincere supplication, the believer opens themselves to the profound mercy of Allah and allows the light of guidance to illuminate every corner of their life.